Hello, welcome to the show. This is Matt Davidson. I got LL, and then I have Mark Henry, and we have Coach Phil from Ole Miss. Coach, how's it going?
Pretty good. I appreciate the invitation this evening.
Well, pleasure to have you, Coach, and I'm going to let LL take it away.
Well, Coach, I am just delighted to have you on here tonight and Hottie Toddy. And
Howdy,
I,
Toddy.
hey, and I first wanted to check on Devon Penniman. For those of you who may not remember, he is from Houston, so he is one of ours, and he had a pretty good year last year with the Rebels, 217 yards rushing, 84 yards receiving, but unfortunately had a pretty big injury in the A&M game. Coach, y'all sat him out the spring game. How is he doing? Do you think you'll have him back for the season opener?
Well, Devon injured his knee in the LSU game pretty severely. He underwent surgery soon after to try to get a jump on the 6 to 9 month rehab process that he's going through. That's pretty standard now with that kind of injury, and so obviously he was in the rehab phase going through spring ball.
Sure.
Now that we are underway in the summer program, he is scheduled to be cleared in the month of August during either the end of July or beginning of August during camp, and he'll get out there physically and see what he's capable of performing, what he's capable of doing.
Well, that's great. So hopefully we'll see him against Tech, and if not, hopefully by the time y'all get back to Oxford and play Southern Illinois. So wonderful. And then, Coach, now you are in your first official season with Coach Luke as your head coach, and what are y'all looking forward to this year for the Rebels?
Well, the way I see it, he was our head coach last year, so it's that's just the way I see it. He's the interim tag never really was officially put on Matt. That was a media placed title, but he obviously won the job permanently in a new contract after the season, and we're thrilled because he really, I think, when you're going to try and change the culture of a program, it starts with your head football coach. And, there was a really good locker room there previously. And Matt built on that, and our staff built on that, and our players built on that. And I think right now we've got a little bit more of a veteran team returning this year than we did last year. We have a great locker room in terms of the character and the work ethic, and I'm looking forward to opening day in Houston at NRG Stadium.
And Coach, I am hoping to be there as well. I'm excited. I'm supposed to be objective, but I'm just incredibly biased. I know everybody is happy that Coach Luke is there, and delighted you could be on here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and thank you for your time. I'm going to go ahead and send this on to Matt.
All right, Coach, and I just want to tell you, ever since I've, met you indirectly on the internet, on Twitter, thank God for Twitter, and, you've always been real kind and nice to me, and I think it means a lot that a big-time college offensive coordinator like yourself is so willing to talk to people like us in the media, and it means a lot to us, and so I just want to say thank you for, taking some time with us. And so now I would like to ask, a little bit about you. Let's tell people a little bit about the history of where you came from. Where'd you go to high school and college at, and how did you get into coaching?
Yeah, I was born in New Jersey. I went to Central Regional High School, which is out by the ocean, out by the shore, on the coast in New Jersey. I played at Rowan University for a coach by the name of John Bunting, and who was former head coach of North Carolina and the DC at the Rams when they won the Super Bowl with Vermeil. So I was fortunate enough to be around a guy like that. He got me my first job in the sport of football with the Philadelphia Eagles as an intern. I was just a grunt there, and then I kind of made the decision at that point to get into coaching. I was fortunate enough to get a head high school job at 24, and thought I knew everything and didn't know anything, and you kind of learn as you go, and had an opportunity a little bit later to get into college football, and 3 years after that, I've been in college football ever since. And so it's been a wild ride, and I've been fortunate to be around a lot of great coaches and a lot of great people. And I'm very thankful that I get to say I coach college football for a living.
That's awesome, Coach. If there's one thing that you can say that they didn't tell you about before you got into coaching that you didn't know about, what is something that's been new to you as a coach that you haven't noticed on the outside before you became a coach?
Well, it's obviously not new to me now because I've been doing this 25 years. But I think early on in my career, first 2, 3, 4 years, you you sit down and you write up your goals for your career. And my career sheet 20 years ago, 23 years ago, had all kinds of awards and rings and victories and championships and statistics and you know career milestones, all of this stuff, all the materialistic stuff that exists. I had all of that. And I think the thing that I didn't realize was, and as much as this sounds like rhetoric, it's not. I still want to win as badly as I did then. I want to win as much as anybody in the game. But I probably look back and realize how naive I was in the beginning, because the game is so much more rewarding than that. I think it's important in our society. I think it helps train some of the leaders of our world, our sport does. And I also believe that I didn't realize how rewarding it is when you realize how much of an impact you potentially could have, on another person. And so I'm thankful for all the relationships with all the great players that I've had. And I don't mean statistically great, although that's part of it, but just the great character guys I've been around. And I think as I went from being a 5-year vet to a 25-year vet, I want to win a national championship as badly as I did when I started, but I probably put as much value in the relationships that I have and the things that I've learned from my players over the years. And so that means a heck of a lot more to me now than it did. So that would be the one aspect of this business and my job that I sincerely appreciate but didn't realize when I got into it.
Well, that's pretty sweet, Coach. I love how you're opening up to us. I appreciate all of it. And I'll end with this question, and then I'll turn it over to Mark. He can jump in. So you're from the Philadelphia and Jersey area. And I mean, you've worked in Philadelphia and you're from the Jersey area. What is it like, living in the South now?
Well, I really haven't lived out east in a long time. My last job was the only job I had in Philadelphia. Well, that's not true. I was with the Eagles and LaSalle. So my last job out east was in Philadelphia at LaSalle University. But ever since then, I've been in the Midwest and in Texas and in the Deep South. So it's been quite a while since I've been out east. And I think my wife and I enjoy the warm weather, so we feel fortunate. We feel lucky to be in a climate that we enjoy so much and where I'm still able to pursue, my career. And Sam Houston, we had a wild ride. Southern Illinois was a lot of fun. And, obviously I'm thoroughly enjoying my time here in Oxford at Ole Miss.
Well, that's awesome, Coach. I'm going to go ahead and let Mark Henry jump in.
All right, Coach, again, appreciate you for joining us tonight. My first question is, talk about the time at Sam Houston State. You had a top offense in 2016. You were conference champs in 2014 and 2016. And talk about the offense that you're bringing into Ole Miss this year. And is it similar to the one at Sam? Do you just kind of have the same type of principles? And how does that offense translate to?
Well, I basically, my first 4 or 5 years in coaching, kind of wandered through some different coaches and some different schemes, trying to find an identity for the offense that I wanted to run. And I came across Mike Leach on a trip to Kentucky, the University of Kentucky, and I met him and talked some football. And I spent 3 days down there at a clinic. And as I drove back to the coast from Kentucky, I just felt like that was the first time that the offense made sense to me, to a point where, having played quarterback, I just felt like, I understand this. This makes sense to me. It's simple. I could be successful doing this as a player. And it sold me on pursuing it as a coach. And so we started developing, this offense that's based on the air raid philosophy in '96. And I've really been running we've been running the same offense for the last 20 plus years. Every year you kind of take the weak link in the offense and improve it, and you're constantly tinkering to try to improve technique. But schematically and terminology wise, and no question philosophically, it has all been air raid for a long time. I would say the only difference from the standard air raid offense is there's just a greater emphasis on the run game, in our system here, and that's the way it's been for a while.
All right, Coach. Now, we cover high school sports here in the DFW area, and one guy that I've been keeping a watch on that's been at Ole Miss for a while is DeMarcus Lodge. He was a top receiver coming from a state championship team here in Cedar Hill. And what kind of spring did DeMarcus have this year? What are we looking forward out of him this year?
Well, I think DeMarcus is viewed as a future draft pick. I think DeMarcus is in the year and a half that I have been in Oxford. He's a year and a half better. I mean, he's continued to mature. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten faster. He's improved technique. He's a workaholic. He's a guy that works at it. He grinds, and the game means a lot to him. And I think he's trying to improve and perfect his craft every day. And that's all you can ask of a player. It's not easy to consistently improve and stay on top of it over the long haul, over the course of a year and a half like that. And that's been my experience with him. He's a great character guy, good person. I think the players like being around him. I'm excited for him. I think he has an opportunity. He had a great season last year, but I think he has an opportunity with some of the other weapons that we have on the offense to have a really big year. And on the personal end of it, I'm really excited to watch him get after it this season.
All right, Coach, my last question for you is to continue with the offensive flavor, since you're the offensive coordinator. Who are some of the guys, your top quarterbacks? Tell me a little bit about your offensive line and the key guys that should be leading Ole Miss to hopefully the SEC championship and maybe national championship.
The offensive line, we lost one tackle to the draft in the fourth round of the Colts and Rod Taylor, and we lost Durante Bolden, an outstanding guard. But we do return right now. We return about 15 linemen, 8 of which we expect to play in the rotation up front. We like to play a lot of linemen because of our tempo. Coach Bicknell does a phenomenal job managing those guys. So we think that'll be a strength on our team this year offensively. At quarterback, we have a returning senior who started the second half of the season last year in Jordan Ta'amu, and he did a great job of continuing to build on his leadership role on the team and with our offense in the spring. And so he's full steam ahead as we head towards the fall. We also have Matt Corral behind him, who just came in from Long Beach Poly in Los Angeles. He had a great spring for a guy that was sitting in a high school class in December. He did a phenomenal job of learning the offense and executing it all spring. And so we expect great things from him when he finally hits the field. In the backfield, we signed the number one JUCO running back last season, Scotty Phillips. He probably came out of this spring as the lead back, but we feel like we have some talent back there with Eric Swaney and Isaiah Woolward and Armani Linton. And then obviously the jury is out on Devon Penniman's health, but getting him back would be a huge plus. And then at receiver, that's probably where we're the most prolific. A.J. Brown is projected as a number 1 round draft pick. Outside, we do have DeMarcus Lodge, who we spoke about, and DK Metcalf is on the other end. And I think all 3 of them will be draft picks before the end of their career. And the one guy I think that we'll build around, we've got 3 veterans, Jordan Sims and Javon Patterson at guard, and Sean Rawlings at center. And then we also have another projected first-round draft pick in Greg Little at the left tackle spot. And then lastly, I think we'll get back Dawson Knox, who was not healthy the entire season last year. Started at tight end as a walk-on for us, is now on scholarship, and he'll be joined by Octavius Cooley. And the 2 of them, along with Jason Pellerin, give us some great depth at the tight end position. So we're excited about having a lot of veterans back. We're going to be prepared going into the NRG game, and I think the expectation by the offensive side is to pick up in that game against Texas Tech the way we left off against Mississippi State on Thanksgiving night.
Well, that's
All right,
awesome,
Coach.
Coach.
Well, I'll send it back over to Matt. Appreciate you spending some time with us.
Yes,
That's
sir.
awesome, Coach. I just thought of one more question before we let you go, and I wanted to ask you because
Sure.
I see it. You see a lot of videos on Twitter of kids that are not so fortunate that don't get a scholarship and they have to walk on. What does it feel like for you as a coach to see a kid walk on and then get a scholarship?
Well, every story is a little different. Some you actually recruit. We talk about providing them with an opportunity maybe in the future to earn one. Sometimes it's a different track. You give them an opportunity to come on as a walk on, and there's no plan of moving them up. And as long as you're honest with them, I think that's fine. I think you have to be honest with recruits. But to see guys come on and earn their way up like a Dawson Knox is, and there have been many over the years that I've had the privilege of being around in my career. Many. We had, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 walk-ons play and eventually start for us at Sam Houston. And I know they've had some great ones in the past here at Ole Miss. And so, I hope that trend continues because sometimes those guys become key contributors. And the more talent you can get, the better. So, they become fan favorites, I think, and they become staff favorites when you see guys exceed any expectation that you have for them. So it's always a great opportunity for an underdog to show and prove what he can do. And I would venture to say we'll probably find another one this year.
Yeah, you bet. I mean, I think I know why people like it. It's a feel-good story because, people can relate to them. We feel like they're kind of relatable because, hey, we didn't get offered D1 because we're just regular old Joe over here. And they didn't get offered, but they had an opportunity and they made the best of it. So I just want to tell you, Coach, that we're so thankful that you came on and gave us some of your time. And LL and Mark, if you guys have anything, I'm good with Coach. If you guys are.
Coach, thank you so much, and get after it. Hotty toddy.
Hi, Toddy. I appreciate the support for Ole Miss, y'all, and you enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Coach.
Coach.
Just want to tell everybody thank you for tuning in and joining us. We have a good thing going on. And that was Coach Phil Longo of Ole Miss, offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. I'm Matt Davidson, along with Mark Henry and LL. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks. Have a great one.
Smiling from my head to her feet. I said, hey.